Okay. Hi, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. You've got a little, let's see. Do we have reactions in here? No, we're in Zoom webinar mode, so I can't see any of you, just so you know. I can't see you, I can't hear you. Normally I teach not in webinar mode, but today I'm going to just because there's some people. Okay, thank you, Ken. I always check in with everybody and I always start like at 5 after the hour because I know like isn't that the thing now is like you have back-to-back Zoom meetings and some things run like 5 or 10 minutes over even though everybody says I want to be conscious of your time and everything. So anyways, I expect people to kind of filter in as we go. Um I am going to do a little bit of housekeeping just before we get started. So um, if you want to put something in the chat box, please do. You can either put questions in the chat box, or you can use the Q&A button. I don't care. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to be watching both of them. But if you put it in the chat box, make sure that that little drop down arrow at the bottom by the two line says panelists and attendees. Otherwise, no one can see your question. Only I can see it. And I would love for questions to go across the entire chat board here. You can also use the Q&A box and I will keep an eye on that as well. I am recording this. I had a lot of people contact me and say, I can't make it live, but please record it. And they've registered anyway. So after we get done with the webinar, I will be posting a private, like unlisted link. I'm going to upload this to YouTube so it's easy for everybody to get. And then I'll also be sending out a copy of my slides as well. I haven't decided if I'm going to email those. I might just post them in the forum. So for anyone who doesn't know, I have a mastermind group. What the hell is mastermind group? It's a group of like-minded individuals. Usually it's like work colleagues or peers that learn together in a group setting, basically, because you all have some common goals. So that is something that I run. Either I have a free version and then I have a paid version that is $30 a month. We do a different live coaching topic every month. July is super cool. I think there's a lot of people looking forward to what we're covering in July, which is selling to national accounts. I probably should have tidied up my house before I taught this webinar to you, but I don't think anybody cares. We'll just turn it a little bit this way so you don't have to look at my messy house. I have two boys, by the way. I'm also going to share my screen with you. I don't have too many. I say that. I have a lot of slides today, so I'm going to go pretty fast. If for some reason you don't understand something or if you need me to repeat something, again, put it in the chat box or put it in the Q&A. Or you can raise your hand. I can allow you to speak if you really want to. If you really want to get on camera, I can make it happen. Usually people don't want to, but anyways, I can't see you or hear you. So just get comfortable. I'm still drinking coffee. I'm sure there's some people still in their PJs. So welcome to ERPs, SSMs, and CRMs. Oh my. So I got the idea for this class. Honestly, I've been thinking about doing this class. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you, by the way, so you can see my slides. The idea for this came from I'm in a whole bunch of like industry forums and discussion boards and stuff like that. And I kept seeing people ask about these software tools that are available for people to use with their growing beverage organization. So I thought, you know what? I've used a lot of these. I have clients that have experience with a lot of these tools. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a class on them because I think it could be helpful in finally like digging into some details like what these things actually are, how they can help you, the advantages and disadvantages of different platforms, the cost of the different platforms, and some of the questions that you should be asking before you even onboard any of these things. So I'm pretty sure you can see my screen and just my head as like a little talking head. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. If for some odd reason, somebody just let me know in the chat box if you can't see these, but I've done this before. I'm pretty sure you can. Hi, my name is Julie Rhodes. For those that don't know me, I am the owner and operator of Not Your Hobby Marketing Solutions. I always tell people if you have customers, you have a business and not a home brewing hobby or cider hobby or seltzer hobby or distilling or any of those alcoholic beverage activities that most people do. I don't know, a lot of people do in their recreational time. If you have a business license, you need to be treating things like a business. I have a lot of years under my belt. You can read the screen. I'm not going to go through all of these. I've been in the specialty beer industry on the sales management and distribution side for over 13 years. I was service industry before that. I have a BA in marketing. There's usually 3 lanes that I stay in. By the way, I teach and I'm also a business coach. I hate the word consultant, although that's kind of what I am. So I work one-on-one with beverage organizations to give them, counsel and teach them more about business skills that can help them grow their businesses. I also have my mastermind group. I also have a digital learning library. If you don't want to talk to me, you can take digital courses from me, but I pretty much stay in 3 lanes, and that's outside sales, tactics, digital marketing techniques, and distribution management. Like, should I get a distributor? Who should I align with? How do I work with them? What's on the contract? Although I'm not a lawyer, by the way. Anyways, that's kind of a brief overview of what I do. All right, so let's get into this, right? I always like to start with problems because usually if I'm teaching something, it's because somebody has a problem and I'm trying to help them solve it in some way, shape, or form. This is kind of an issue. There's a lot of beverage alcohol companies out there. There's even more people with applications for licensing. So there's a lot of craft beverage organizations in planning right now. But a lot of people that have been around for a little bit, or you want to make sure you start off on the right foot, you're going to have growing pains, right? Um, Most of the time that includes like, how do I run my infrastructure? How do I keep costs under control? Stuff like that. A lot of people have questions also about expanded distribution, like when is the right time to do that? How do I keep track of sales data that come from wholesalers or distributors? How do I increase my footprint? The other thing is keg tracking. Now, I know this wasn't a problem during the COVID shutdowns, but it is still a problem that we've been fighting with for years, and that is how can you efficiently, track kegs and deposits and barcodes and all that kind of stuff. Another thing is monitoring your costs and efficiencies. Like, is your brewery running efficiently? Is your distillery running efficiently? What are your cost of goods? What are your cost of materials? Are you making efficient batches? So on and so forth. Do you have efficient recipes? Honestly. And another common problem in our industry, just the craft beverage space, is most of us are short on time and money. So how do you actually incorporate, tools that fit your budget, but that also meet what you need? Here's another thing, and this pertains exactly to social media management, is most of the time marketing is overwhelming. I find very few marketing professionals that have transitioned into a craft beverage ownership role. It has happened. There are exceptions. But most of the time people need some tools to help them out a little bit of guidance. Also, when you take on sales reps, how do you manage your sales team? By the way, these are all questions that we're going to be answering today, kind of, sort of. We're answering them with software solutions and not necessarily advice on how to do these things. And then, honestly, is what we're doing currently working? You know, trying to figure that out as well. And some of these tools can help you figure that out. So the solutions basically encompass that you need to hone in your business processes that lead to an efficiently run organization, right? This is kind of a joke that I'm making, but it's also true. If you've never read Traction, it's a book by Gino Wickman. Just go out and buy it at your local bookstore or on Amazon, or listen to it on Audible, something like that. It's a fantastic book for any business owner across any industry. I've worked with many people that have transitioned this concept, and I transitioned this concept from this book into business planning. So it's a valuable resource. The second thing is you need to onboard some software tools. So that's what we're going to talk about today. The first thing is an ERP system, which is technically an enterprise resource planning system. Sometimes it can also be referred to as a MRP, like material resource planning system. The long and short of it is that it helps organize your production facility by organizing processes and giving you visuals that make things easier. It's the integrated management of main business processes, often in real time and mediated by software and technology. That's the fancy definition. What it does is it allows you to track raw materials, plan production, monitor cash flows, look at material costs. You can organize recipes, you can plan batches, you can track orders, and you can regulate your inventory. These are pretty powerful systems, right? This is essential for growing beverage operations because you need transparency for your supply chain. You have to. You need efficiencies. You can plan things more efficiently as far as production, packaging, recipes, things like that. You know the true cost of your goods. You can organize vendors and customers and keep them straight. A lot of these have CRM plugins in them as well. You can manage recipes and you can integrate your team in real time. All right, bear with me as I'm also scrolling through my own notes as I'm guiding you along through my slides. So sometimes you're going to have to give me a second to catch up. All right, the next thing that we're going to talk about is an SSM, or sometimes it's referred to as an SSMS. What it's basically is a social media management software tool. What this does is it's a software application that facilitates an organization's ability to successfully engage in social media across different channels. Again, the short version, it helps you post things in advance. It helps you schedule social media marketing posts in advance and campaigns in advance. Some of the ones that we're going to talk about today are also marketing hubs. They can also be used as project management tools and internal communication tools as well. Why are these important? They're crucial to have efficient ways to manage your social media marketing efforts and connect with your fans. This is actually an outlet for customer service as well. So this can be a very important tool to add to your business. What it basically does is help you juggle multiple social media channels with ease. It helps you schedule posts in advance so that you can pre-plan content, which makes your marketing job a lot easier. You can organize conversations and customer service. You can do outreach with fans. You can figure out what's working or what's not working because a lot of these tools have analytics and reporting capabilities. And then also, this is crucial right here, is that it gives you time back on your schedule, which a lot of us don't have. And we actually need quite a bit. All right. So the next tool that we're going to talk about is a CRM tool. And what this is a customer relationship management application, tool, software system, whatever you want to call it. It's just called a CRM for short. Basically, it's a technology system for managing all your company's relationships and interactions with customers, potential customers, and it also could mean vendors as well. I find that people throw around the term of CRM, and it really needs to be defined or drilled down a little bit more because it could mean a CRM for your customers that you buy materials from, but it also could mean your customers that are buying beer from you out in the wholesale market. And it could mean potential customers as well as like lead generation and things like that. What a CRM does is actually improve your business relationships. It gives you cues. It helps you gather data about your sales relationships out in the market, and it helps companies stay connected to customers. Again, it helps you streamline business processes and it improves your profitability because you're becoming an efficient sales machine, basically. So what it helps you to do is get a clear overview of all your customers in one place and vendors, just to clarify. It helps you track your sales pipeline. It gives you tools for lead generation. It takes care of sales data reporting. It saves your sales reps time and effort in route planning and account management capabilities. We'll get into that later. And it helps you expand your distribution footprint. Okay, so let's talk about things that you need to consider with each one of these categories when you're looking at onboarding some of these tools. Just a reminder, because there's people coming in late and whatnot. If you have questions, put them in the chat box or put them in the Q&A section, and I'll either address them if I think they're relevant right away. If not, we can take care of them at the end. Also, I will be sending out these slides, so don't think you have to take furious notes. You will get a PDF copy of all of these, so don't feel like you have to scribble furiously and fast. Okay, so when you're looking at an ERP system, these are some things that you need to ask and you need to consider. I think this visual is kind of funny as well because you can see how complicated an ERP system actually is and all the things that you need to consider. I always kind of cringe when I see people online or like in a group or like if I'm in a group of people at a conference or something like that, and they're like, what ERP system should I get? And I'm like, oh, geez, okay, I should write down questions for you because it gets very complicated. The one thing that I can tell you overall is that you need to invest in a system that works for you. All of these different options, it's like a pair of shoes or buying a bike or buying a winter coat. There's a lot of choices out there, but not every single choice is going to be a good fit for you. I find that some people prefer certain ERPs over others just because they feel comfortable with the visuals or the way that they have to input data. Same thing with a CRM, same thing with a social media management system. It just depends, if you're more text-based learner, if you're a visual learner, if you like processes laid out for you in charts, if you would rather just read instructions. Just know that these things are flexible, but these are just some basic things that you need to consider before investing in any system whatsoever. So when it comes to ERPs, you definitely want to think about the time and the effort it's going to take for the onboarding process. Like, can it happen quickly? How long is it going to get? How long is it going to take to get your data from your production facility into the actual system where you can start functioning like from day one and moving forward and start building data in that ERP system? Think about what you need to fix. Like, just make a little punch list, right? Like, just a little bullet list. What are you trying to align within your business? Do you see inefficiencies anywhere? What's your like wish list, like your dream list? A lot of the times when you call into these companies and get like custom quotes and stuff like that, if you don't know what you want, they can't help you. So please make a list of the things that you would like to see happen. um, they will help you streamline goals. So, how does that look within your system? Like, is there sort of a project management layout where you're like working towards a goal? Is there a visualization of that? Can you see your tanks, so on and so forth? That's something you need to tackle. How are they doing batch planning? Is that even a capability? Is one of the options inventory and recipe management, or is that even not even part of the system? Most of the time, it is. Do they have options for keg tracking? Is there another system that has to be added on to the keg tracking? So something like through MicroStar or one of the other third-party companies, Keg Shoe, I think is another one. Do they have quality control measures in place? Are there like sensory measures? Do they have yeast management capabilities? Do they have anything for barrel aging? Maybe you don't do that. You might not even need that, but it's a good question to ask. Do they have TTB and tax reporting? And how often? And can you align it with your accounting software? Those are nice things to have. How much training and customer service do they have available? And what are the service hours? Is it 24/7? Is it just Monday through Friday, 9 to 5? Do they have training videos? They have live training. You're going to have a team that needs to know how to use these tools pretty well. What kind of integrations do they have? So like third party extra stuff, like can you sync up with Square because it's my POS system, or can you sync up with QuickBooks or Zero because that's the accounting system that I'm using? What kind of reporting capabilities does it have? Can you run custom reports or are they set reports? This is a big one. The cost. What's it going to cost me? Usually it's a monthly cost. We'll talk about that later. There's setup fees and things like that. And what's the growth potential? Like, can the system grow with you, right? What departments are served? Is there a carryover into like accounting, marketing, sales, stuff like that? Is it mobile? Like, do they have a dedicated mobile app? Is it easily viewed on a mobile device, or is it just desktop only? What's the learning curve on the system overall? Like, how easy is it to learn, even for people that aren't that tech savvy? And then finally, the UX, which is the user experience. So, like, does it stress you out looking at their dashboard, or do you feel okay with looking at all the things like all in one place? So next, these are the things that you need to consider for a social media management system. The number of platforms that you want to post on. So this is like, your Facebook page, your Instagram page. Do you have a Twitter feed? Do you have a YouTube page? All that kind of stuff. What are the post limits? Usually there's monthly post limits. Um, you are usually limited by the pricing tier that you're under. So that's important to consider. Do they have direct publishing, which means you can schedule things in advance and it'll go straight to your channels? Or is it push notification publishing, which means it's going to send you an alert on your mobile device every time you have something scheduled to publish, which for most of us is kind of a pain in the ass. Again, this feeds into what kind of scheduling capabilities do they have? Is there a limit? Is there a time frame? What kind of reports and analytics do they offer? You need to know that, whether or not what you're doing is working. The cost, again, the learning curve, the user interface, like what it looks like on desktop. Is there a mobile app? Is an actual functional mobile app? We'll get into that later. Like sometimes people offer an app and it sucks and it's kind of totally useless. What are your goals? Again, this is a common theme for a lot of these. Does it offer social listening? What social listening is where you can keep track of people that have used a hashtag that you follow all the time, or maybe you have a company like branded hashtag that you use, or if you've been tagged, or if people check themselves in to say your brewery or cider facility, are you able to see that in real time and interact with those people in real time? What kind of customer service they have? I will tell you, every single one of these systems has problems. You're going to need customer service and support. And then finally, does it have media editing capabilities? Like, is it good for video or just for photos? Is it great for text? Can you edit photos when you're in there? Can you edit videos when you're in there? All that stuff. Finally, a CRM. These are the things that you're going to need to know. Your business case, who's using it, right? What kind of workflows do you want to track? Are you tracking like a sales pipeline, or are you just tracking invoices with vendors for historical data purposes? How many users need to actually use it? Some of these systems, actually most of them, base the price on the number of users that are going to be using it. So you need to take that into an account. Again, mobile or desktop. CRM, it needs to be mobile. If you're doing a CRM just for your vendors, it can be just desktop, but you need to know the difference. Departmental integration. Do you need to work with the marketing team? Do you need to work with accounting? How does the user interface look? Like, do the reps feel comfortable using the CRM? What kind of learning curve it has? The financial integrations, again, with either like a POS system or with QuickBooks or accounting, things like that. How data is reported, right? Is it coming from your records or is it coming from a distributor? The reporting capabilities, like how much you can manipulate the data that's going into the CRM. Activity monitoring, which is really handy for sales managers to have capabilities for. The cost per user and the cost of upgrades, so you can see how the system will grow with you and your sales team. And then, are you self-distributing or are you partnered with a wholesaler? Because this is going to matter later on. Also, GPS and route planning. And then, is it actually built for the beverage industry? That's a huge one. All right. So I'm going to quickly dive in to some of these suggested platforms that I have. And if anybody has questions, I will say this again. I am not an expert on each one of these systems, but the ones that I'm suggested today, either I've used personally in the past, or I've been connected to someone who has used it firsthand, or I've spoken to the company directly to get clarification on their systems and their features. This is not the end all be all, right? You can see that I have a conclusion and kind of my takeaway on each one of these systems. Really, you're going to have to dip your toes in. You're going to have to try on, different pairs of shoes, just like you would pick out a pair of like running shoes or hiking shoes or something. You're going to have to try out different tools. So just know that right away. But this will give you some good insight to get you started. Okay, this is the big one. This is Ecos. Most people are familiar with Ecos. It is very popular in the craft beverage space. They have tons of features. All right, you've got inventory management, you've got production forecasting. It's got pretty much all the bells and whistles. I'm not going to waste time like listing all these off because we have a lot of tools to go through. No offense to each one of these individually, but you can see exactly what's going on. Now, they do have an integrated CRM. I want to give a caveat specifically for this feature. I love Ecos as a company. I do not like their CRM for sales teams. The CRM is great for vendor management and keeping track of what is going in and out of the door of your business. But as far as getting like account level data and some of the metrics and stuff that us in the sales field use kind of on a, on demand basis for out in the market, it's a little bit harder. Now, they do have really robust reporting capabilities, and they do have like drag and drop customizable reports, which are really nice. They're just not like super mobile friendly on the go. So if you're a sales rep like out in the field, I probably wouldn't suggest Ecos as a mobile CRM tool, but it is great as an ERP system. And if you're a sales manager on the desktop version, it's actually very, very powerful for you to use that CRM piece and see everything that's got. And my dog is barking in the background. I'm sorry. Um, okay. I just had to yell at her, but hopefully she'll stop in just a second. Anyways, all right. So looking at the cost of Ecos, it kind of depends on all the features that you want, right? Like all the bells and whistles that you want. It has flat setup fees, which are great, and it's super accessible because it starts at about $150 per month. That probably is not going to be your actual cost because you'll want to like build your own system, but they do have the capabilities where you can like build things onto there. So, which is really nice to have. My conclusion, it's low cost. It has a lot of features. They have great training and great educational resources. I think Ecos is better suited for people that are doing self-distribution versus working with a wholesaler. It's just not like an all-in-one tool that encompasses sales and marketing as well. It has really nice visuals, so you can see the tanks on your interface, and there's workflows and all kinds of things. It's got a little bit of a learning curve, but it's not terrible, and it's really great for large production facilities. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, which is called Beer 30. You might have also seen this. It's a company called The Fifth Ingredient. Oh, my parentheses is missing there. Oh, well, you guys know what this is. Um, Specifically, I honed in on the brewery one. They do have different models that work for like cider or kombucha or I think wine as well. I don't know. Pulkit and Rollis are the guys behind this, and they could probably correct me on this. But I love Beer 30. I get really excited about this software. First of all, because they haven't been around that long. They're very open to suggestions, and I really like that there is like direct, almost immediate customer support, like human support, which is really nice to have. These are big, giant systems that have to be built. And when something goes wrong, the thing that you want the most is to talk to a human, like immediately. So that's really nice. They also built the system themselves. So it's nice to actually talk to like the developer. There's a lot of bells and whistles to this system. The thing that I like the most is the user interface and the fact that it literally takes like less than a day to set up everything, which is really impressive. So if you need something set up quickly, I would definitely go with Beer 30. There's zero charges and setup fees. It's a little bit higher than Ecos, right? It starts out, don't quote me on the 400, but it's going to be around there depending on what features you want. You can add unlimited users at no extra cost, which is really nice. And like I said, I've actually used this system with some of my brewery partners before. And the cool thing that I found was that as soon as I got my login, I immediately jumped into using the system. The learning curve is like zero. I knew nothing about the system, and I immediately started like clicking around and using things because the menu is very intuitive. It's very user friendly, and everything talks to each other, which is really nice. Um, I consider it pretty fancy, honestly. I think it has really great big growth potential for growing craft brands. Again, it's very user friendly. You get personalized support. It's wonderful for self distribution. Although you can see what your wholesalers are buying, you just can't necessarily see account level data. They haven't gotten to that spot yet. Although I have mentioned that to a lot of these systems that that's something that is needed. And this is great for fast growth. Okay, so here's the next one. You might have heard of this one as well. This is called Crafted ERP. Um, Crafted ERP is a little bit bigger of a system, They've been around for a while. They have all the typical things like recipe and ingredient management. They've got drag and drop, like tank scheduling, which is really nice. They can track transfers, which is great. The cool part about Crafted is, again, it has some really awesome like visuals. So if you're more of a visual learner and you can wrap your brain around like the processes and the workflows that are happening within your organization, and you'd rather have like a picture of a tank and all those different things, then this might be a really good fit for you. They do have barrel aging capabilities. Oh, I forgot to mention with Beer 30, they have sensory and QC checks in there as well. Crafted ERP has this as well. They do have a sales CRM. Again, this is one of those that incorporates that, but it's more beneficial for tracking vendors and raw materials than it is actually outside sales, although you can incorporate what you're selling to wholesalers out in the market, just not account level data. They've got license management, tax reporting, product costing. They do have a dedicated mobile app. Beer 30 does not have a dedicated mobile app yet, but it does come up very, very user friendly on the mobile app. So it's easy to run from a mobile device, especially a tablet. So if you have like brewers in the brewery or, people walking around, it's very manageable from a mobile device. Um, these are kind of secret pricing models. You're going to have to call and get a custom quote, which is why it's so good to know like what your goals are in advance. I have heard rumors that this costs upwards of like $20,000 to $30,000 a year. So it is very expensive. This is probably better for larger organizations that are a little bit more mature. There's lots of bells and whistles. It's a big investment, but it will grow with you. It is great on the go. Again, it's great for self-distributing organizations and it's better for large teams. Okay, so let's talk about this little scrappy guy called Brew Ninja. I should say little scrappy company, not guy, and work on my pronouns here. But this is Brew Ninja. I did not have a lot of experience with this company until this past year. And I've actually been pretty impressed with what they can do. This company is in Canada. So you might have to ask them to change some of the measures from like liters and hectoliters to barrels and CEs, but it's easy enough because Matt and his team are very direct with their support. It doesn't quite have as many features as the first three systems that I talked about, but the cost is fairly low. So I tell people that I like this if you're kind of a smaller production facility and you're just getting started with like process planning and getting used to efficiently running your infrastructure. I like the fact that they do have setup fees, but I'm not quite sure what they are. They're not publicized. And I haven't asked Matt what they are, but they are pretty low and they do have a free trial, which is nice. You can kind of give it a test drive and like play around with the different capabilities. Their base program, I think they have 6 different levels total, with one of them being a customized total that they will customize a quote for you if you want like, a little bit of each bucket in there. But their base program starts at 99 bucks a month, which is great. And then it just sort of builds from there with all the different features. Um, it's not, there's not a dedicated app, but it is mobile friendly. I especially like the mobile invoicing option that they have on here with like digital signatures. It makes it great for self-distributing organizations that are getting signatures from buyers out in the market. I think that's really nice. They do have pretty extensive reporting capabilities, but they're not super customizable. Like you can change different factors, but it's not like a drag and drop system like what you would see from Ecos or from Beer 30, so it's a little bit limited, but you're paying less for it. So my conclusion here is it's a great starter ERP. It's great for smaller production facilities. It's good for small teams and it's great for self-distribution. All right, so let's take a look at Beer Run. This program has been around for a while too. They do have a dedicated mobile app. It's called the Brew Pad. It's very functional. They only have 2 versions of this. There's Beer Run, the full version, and then there's Beer Run Lite. So there's not a ton of options here. There's very low setup costs. It starts at about $200 a month. You have unlimited users for no extra charge at all. It's kind of simplified. So this is more of a materials resource planning program instead of an enterprise resource planning program. So just know that going into it. It's a little bit limited in the functions compared to the other systems that we've looked at, but it might be a good fit for you. So I wanted to make sure I included it on here. There isn't a CRM component. So if you don't need that, this might be a good option. It's a great low cost option. It's better for small teams. It's a good beginner solution. And there are limited features though. So you might have to kind of question some of the growth options in this for your company personally. Okay. So, and I'm also watching my time because I do want to be conscious of everybody's time today. So I'm going to talk fast. Again, if you have questions, put them in the Q&A or put them in the chat box. Everybody's so quiet today. I hope everyone can still hear me. I don't know. It scares me when there's like crickets. Sometimes I'm not used to teaching in a non like dynamic environment where I can see people. Very weird. Okay, so let's talk about the first social media management tool that I cannot say enough good things about. This is called Publer. Hi, good, Drew. I know it's a lot of information. That's kind of my MO, right? That's kind of my thing. But I like to give people a lot of info. That's, it makes me feel good. I discovered Publer, which I hate the name of, by the way, and I'm not going to get gross and inappropriate, but I don't know who the marketing person is that dropped the ball on the name of this. I get it. It's a play on like publishing, but I think they could have done better on the name. The cool part about Publer is that it's very low cost in comparison to other social media management tools that are out there. And it is very robust. Like you can see all the pros about this tool. It has AI scheduling. It's got auto scheduling. You can recycle posts. You can customize when you're posting things. You can pull user generated content from like blogs and other RSS feeds that you like. I know I'm tossing around a bunch of crazy terms, but just know that this is I've used a lot of social media management tools in the past. I am super impressed with this tool. And the cool part is that they're still so new to the market that they're really inexpensive. There is a free version, but it's very limited. Okay. So the thing that you're going to be limited on is the number of social channels that you can post to and the number of posts that you can actually do like per month. If you want to upgrade, it literally starts at $10 a month and then you get a ton of bells and whistles. The other cool thing that I like about Publer is that it works for YouTube. So you can upload to your YouTube channel, you can schedule posts, and you can also monitor Google My Business, which has now become sort of a standard as part of like your marketing plan, or at least it should, because if you're not playing up your local angle, you should be, and you should be monitoring your Google My Business account for your business organization. Here's the drawbacks. There's not a ton of analytics. The reporting is not like super robust. You have to pay extra for that. You can't really monitor like the people that have tagged you or sent you messages or things like that. You still have to do that through your social channels. They're working on a mobile app, but they don't have a dedicated one yet, although it is very mobile friendly on my browser and my phone. I use Publer personally. I'm not an affiliate. By the way, I'm not getting paid by any of these companies to tell you about them. This is literally coming from my gut and my experience and my research. So just so everybody knows here, and the links at the end, because I've included links to all these companies for everybody so that you can access them, are not affiliate links. They're literally just how you find the tools online. And when I give you a PDF of my slides, they are clickable. I just wanted to make it easy for everybody. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, which is Buffer. This one has been around for a really long time. I'm not super excited about the way the dashboard looks on this, but some people really like it. It does have calendar views so that you can kind of see like your content calendar and how things are going to get posted, and you can schedule things way in advance. It works with almost any social media channel. The cons are that they do have additional tools that can help you, like for social listening, and also for like replying to your inbox on your business accounts, reposting things like on Instagram and stuff like that. And then they have an analytics platform. The thing is, they're all separate. They're like not all in the same website. It drives me crazy. That's the biggest downside for me. And it's not great with video content. So if you do video postings for social media, it kind of gets a little buggy. There is a free trial period. Again, give it a test drive. There's discounts for signing up for an annual plan versus a monthly plan, and these start at $15 a month. Oh, I didn't even tell you. Okay, this is great for solo marketers, by the way, not so great for teams. You can schedule IG stories, which is really nice if you're doing Instagram stories. Not great analytics. It's a good starter system. And again, it's good for mobile. They actually have a really nice mobile app that's very functional. Um, all right, the next one is Hootsuite. And this one has been around for a really long time. It's an oldie, but a goodie. People still like it. There's not a ton of capabilities and fancy things, but it will get the job done. I do like the interface that they have on the desktop version. Their calendar view is really intuitive, and you're allowed to edit posts from the same screen. Like, it won't take you away from your calendar of what you're looking at, which I really like myself. You can also customize each post for different social channels. So, like, if you don't have over 10,000 followers yet on Instagram and you don't have clickable links, you can schedule a post and then go back in there later and say, hey, for Instagram, take away your clickable link and click the link in my bio to, discover whatever it is that you're talking about. Right. So that's always nice. Um, the analytics on Hootsuite are horrible. You have to pay extra for the good ones. They used to have social listening. They took it away. I'm not very happy about that, but it's not like a deal breaker for some people. There's no free version anymore. They also went through a pricing increase this past year. So there is a free trial if you want to give it a test drive, and there are post limits, but the starter version starts at $49 a month. You may really like it and decide that's worth it to you. I don't think it's worth it for me, but again, it's like a pair of shoes. It's different for everybody. You just have to find out what fits for you. I do like that there's a lot of visuals. I like that it's almost instantaneously able to be used by multiple people, no matter what tech challenges you have. It's very easy to learn. So the learning curve is very small. It's great for small teams, and you can also edit your media right there. They give you a media library capability, which is really nice. Oh, Agora Pulse with the horrible name again. I don't know who names these social media management tools. It's awful. This is a wonderful tool with a terrible name. It's a little bit pricier. The starter version starts at $79 a month. There is a free basic version that you can try out, but I think you only get 2 social channels. And there are strict posting limits, so you don't get very much posts. You'll have to check exactly what those numbers are, but it's very restrictive. I find that most people have to use the starter version right from the beginning because the post limits are so harsh. Um, this is some of the best social media metrics and analytics and reporting that I have ever seen. There are 2 tools that I'm going to recommend during this presentation, and that's Agorapulse and Sprout Social. If you monitor your marketing metrics, if that's something that's important to you as a goal, I would consider these 2 tools because they are that powerful and I see what they can do. They both have customizable reports that you can see what's working and what's not working, right? Agorapulse allows you to post to YouTube. They do Instagram stories. They have social listening. You can even monitor your social media advertising, which is really awesome. There's a dedicated mobile app that is functional. It's awesome, easy to use interface, very low learning curve. It is not for beginners though. This is for people that have been doing social media marketing for a generous amount of time. It is definitely not a starter system. This is definitely intermediate to expert, and it is expensive, right? The mobile app is okay. It doesn't have as much as I would like it to. It's a higher learning curve. It is great for reposting content. So if you repost a lot of user generated content, that's a good tool for that. And again, this is Sprout Social. I consider this like the upper tier of social media management platforms. It starts at $99 a month. You do get a free trial period, so you can give it a test run if you want to try it. It is very expensive. I find that most people that use this in the beverage world either came from a marketing background or their day job was social media marketing while they were opening the production facility on the side. or they've taken a lot of classes and certifications in marketing already, social media marketing, because this is a expert level tool. The thing is, it can be too much for a lot of people. So just make sure that you're not forking out $100 a month for something, you don't need a Mercedes Benz if you just need a bike to get to work, right? So just make sure you're not overpaying for extra stuff that you don't need. The analytics are outstanding on this platform. You can pretty much do anything you want on this platform. It's got a great interface. It has a mobile app. It also has a marketing hub, which is really nice. So if you're doing email marketing, if you're doing social media advertising campaigns, this has the capability to monitor those as well. All right, CoSchedule is another fun one. This is a very like expert level program for very little money. So they have a free trial period. It starts at $9 a month. Here's the kicker. This is more of what is called a marketing hub than it is a social media management tool. Because what it actually combines is monitoring your marketing campaigns like advertising, email marketing, stuff like that. But it does have components that allow you to schedule social media marketing posts in advance. It also has great calendar views. It has a pretty decent mobile app. The strength in this is project management and being an internal communication hub for your entire team. So when you add on like all the integrations and the ability to not have to use Slack or Google Chat or whatever it is for your small team, I think it's super cost effective. I really, really like this tool. I'm seeing a lot of beverage companies use this. So just put it on your radar, give it a test drive, give it a spin, see what you think. Okay, let's move on to CRMs. Oh my gosh, I have to go fast. Okay. All right, Pipedrive. Super simple CRM. Great if you're getting started. Like it's got a free trial that you can use. It starts at $12.50 per user per month. So it's great for like solo sales reps that are just getting started, or maybe sales managers that you only have, I don't know, maybe you have like one or two sales reps, maybe a part-time sales rep. This is a really good starter CRM because it is very visual. The user interface is amazing. It's super easy to learn. It is very simple, but it also gives you a really great idea uh, around the concept of like a sales pipeline and how you can build out a sales pipeline um, with wholesale channel customers. So I think this is great as a starter program. There's some basic features you can go up. There's upgrades available. You do get a discount for annual memberships instead of monthly. Um, I think this is great for visual learners because it actually shows you like your progress at the account level, which is really nice. It manages your tasks. Let's see what else. Oh, it does have prospecting tools. It's very affordable and it integrates with QuickBooks. I'm not really sure how the data is going to look, but I do know that they have great customer service. This is not designed for the beverage industry. And when I say that, it doesn't mean you can't use it in the beverage industry. It just means that there's not like specific account attributes that you would find in a beverage specific CRM, like on or off premise account, key account. Is there a display? Do they need tap handles? Stuff like that. All right, the next one is Insightly. I really, really like this CRM. I think for $30 per user per month, it has a lot of features and a lot of capabilities, including pretty damn good reporting and analytics. You can do forecasting. You can integrate your social media and email capabilities. It's got calendar and email sync. You can customize fields and attributes so you can change them so they work for beverage speak. Um, I will say it's limited in their project management. The integrations are a little glitchy. It's not necessarily designed for the beverage space, but a lot of beverage companies use it. And I would say the cost is about mid range. So I think this is a better choice for beverage organizations. The learning curve is low. It's great for small teams and sales managers to monitor what's kind of going on with a remote team out in the market. This is another one that's very similar to Insightly, a little bit less features, but about the same cost, right? So about $30 per rep per month. There is a free trial period. You can give it a test run. There are upgraded packages available that go up to like $40, $50, $60 per user per month. It has a very strong mobile app interface. This is really easy to use on the go. It doesn't have a calendar view or syncing. I wish that it did. The reporting is kind of limited. Um, it's not great for solo reps. I would say this is better for like small teams because it has a lot of collaboration features. It does have GPS and location tracking, which is great for route planning capabilities. That comes in really handy. And it's easy to use. It's got a nice interface and a very low learning curve. It does have financial integrations like QuickBooks and Zero and stuff like that. Outfield is another CRM that I just got familiar with recently, but apparently there's a lot of people in the beverage space that are starting to use this. It is designed for sales in consumer packaged goods, which honestly is all of us anyways, right? There's a lot of pros. There's very few cons. It's actually less for the starter version than Repsly or Insightly, but it doesn't quite come with as much, right? Not quite as many horns and bells and whistles. There's a free version, so you can totally let like your sales rep try it, let a couple of your sales reps try it, see what they think. But then the paid versions start at about $15 per user per month. And again, there's upgrades available. The mobile app is great. You can do activity tracking, activity management, lead generation. You can have visuals of your pipeline. You can do customized reporting. There's activity news feeds, which is cool because if you're a manager, you can just see at a glance like what your reps are doing and what's going on out in the market. It's a medium learning curve. This is a little bit more difficult to learn than Repsly or Insightly, but not by much. It's very similar. Again, it's great for self-distribution. There's accounting integrations, and it's a low-cost option. All right, so let's get into some of the beverage specific systems that are out there. The first one is Craft CRM. And Dave is on this call actually. So Dave is based up in Vancouver, and this is a system that is specifically designed for craft breweries, although it could be used, for cider, seltzer, mead, distilleries, whatever. I think that it's possibly the lowest cost system that you can get for actually tracking distributor data. There are customizable account attributes. There's customizable reporting. There is a dedicated mobile app. There are third-party integrations. It's got a great track record with a great list of clients that they've worked with in the craft beverage space. You get live customer support. There's activity monitoring. Here's the kicker. Dave, don't get mad at me because I have to be honest with people. The interface, I think, on the desktop is a little bit clunky, but that's just me. It is Zoho fueled. I'm not a huge fan of Zoho CRM, but again, this is like a pair of shoes. That's just me. It's perfectly fine for a million other people. If you want to integrate data from your distributor, things are going to have to be uniform across the board. So it's going to cost a little bit extra to get that into the system. And my biggest complaint is that whatever your time frame is for uploading distribution data from your wholesalers, it overwrites the previous month. So you can't do historical. You would have to track historical on your own, but you do have real-time account level wholesaler data, which is like a huge deal. Huge, huge, huge. Okay, call Dave for quotes, get a hold of him. You can look up craft-CRM. I have the link at the end for everybody. It usually starts around $40 per user per month, which is very affordable considering you're getting distributor sales data. My conclusions right there. I think it's a great starter version if you're just starting in distribution and you need to start getting used to, starts at 23. Thank you, Dave. I couldn't remember like the last time we priced it out together. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Starts at $23 per user per month. So it's a very cost efficient starter way. Like if you just have a handful of reps and you have a handful of distributors and you're not quite ready for one of these crazy expensive programs that I'm about to show you. Most people don't realize that there are two companies that have like a huge monopoly on distributor sales data. And that is VIP Karma as a CRM. And the next one that I'm going to talk about, which is LilyPad. Basically, these are data mining companies that get sales data at the account level, warehouse level, all that kind of stuff in real time from your distribution and wholesale partners. Here's the thing, super powerful, very convenient. I cannot recommend these enough if you are working with a large network of distribution partners, but you are going to pay for the convenience, right? This is very hard to do in real time. So just know these are very expensive systems, but they are very powerful. You can see all the pros of this. These are all the things that you get with VIP Karma. I prefer it to LilyPad, but again, that's just me. The cons are the cost. Honestly, the cost. There's a little bit of a high learning curve. It requires a lot of back end admin work, and sometimes it can be a little glitchy. Same things with LilyPad. The angle that LilyPad takes is that they're trying to like gamify sales. I'm not a huge fan of that, but for some teams, for some sales teams, it's really effective. Like you're competing amongst yourselves, you're competing as a group. It has a great visualization setting for getting to target goals. That can be for a number of things. There's drag and drop reporting, there's substantial setup fees. This I actually have the pricing on. It begins at 65 per user per month, but then you also have distributor fees on top of that for the distributor data. So just be warned about these. Okay, friends. Oh my gosh, it is 59. I have 1 minute to wrap things up. I can't believe I did this on time. Um, this is a resource page that will come with your slides. These are all clickable links, so you can find any of the resources that I talked about here. I want to remind everybody, starting today, as soon as this ends, everyone is going to get a registration link and a free month of access to my group coaching platform called the BevBiv Mastermind. Okay. That was that. I don't know why I named it that. I have trouble saying it. Bev Biz, like business, beverage business mastermind group. Okay. We meet live every month. There's live coaching every month. We cover a different topic every month. And not very many people know about this program. It's not a huge group. I like the intimacy of it, but we learn about all these beverage business concepts together. So you have things in common with the other people in the group. We have an open discussion forum. I run polls in there. I post resources. I post interesting articles. Sometimes I bring in additional experts to do interviews on a particular subject. The cool part about this is that, oh, thank you, CJ, is that July we are focusing on selling to national accounts because a lot of people are dealing with chain like resets for fall right now, and that can be a very difficult thing to tackle. So, also, I've granted access for everybody for a month. And then after that, if you want to stick around, it's $30 a month. It's a very low cost commitment, and there's a lot of really great people in there. So I would love if you would join us. Oh, thanks, Ken. I appreciate it. I hope this was helpful for everybody today. Thank you for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. I am looking. Does anyone have any questions? If you have to go, I totally get it. Please feel free to like opt out and run if you have something to do. But if you want to ask a specific question, please throw it in the. I've got the chat box up right now. If you just want to throw it in the chat box, you can throw it in the Q&A. But I don't see anything there, unless everybody is just in data shock from all the information that I just threw at you, which is possible. I don't know. Does anybody want to raise their hand? I don't see any hands raised. I'm like looking and looking and looking. Does anyone have questions about pricing? My opinion on certain features? If you're more confused than you were before I started? I feel like an auctioneer. Going once, going twice. Either that or the guy from Ferris Bueller, like Bueller. Oh, Drew put the okay, which ones have the best integrations? Okay, I was about to ask you to specify between ERP and CRM. Well, it depends on what you need. It was going once. Thank you. I find that ERP systems have way more integration capabilities than CRMs. The problem is most ERPs have a CRM embedded in them, but if you're using it for outside sales, it's usually not super functional, if that makes sense. Like it's great for keeping track of vendor business, like invoices to business vendors and um ingredient like supplier partners, not so great for outside sales with like accounts on the outside. Um yeah, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Um, I find that dedicated CRMs that are meant for like field sales reps are a lot more intuitive. And I think the CRM that has the most integrations is actually Insightly, because it can be connected to your email so you can know when like buyers email you back and forth, you can track like conversations and stuff. It's got an integration with your desktop browser, like a Chrome integration, so you can actually, like if you're doing some prospecting work online, you can actually hit the little button at the top of your browser when you install the extension and actually add it as like, oh, this is like a to-do visit for me, which is really nice. Um, so yeah, but if you're self-distributing, yeah, something like Insightly is great. If you're working with wholesalers, that's a little bit harder. So hopefully that helps. Anyone else? Last call for questions. All right. And if I'm going to let you guys go because I don't want to keep you too long. It's 5 minutes after, and I've done exactly what I said I didn't like other people doing at the beginning. So I'm going to take off. If anyone has any questions, I'm a one woman show. So go to my website or go to social media and just DM me or email me. You can also find me in the mastermind group. I'm the one that runs that. I'm the admin. So you can always message me there. Um, Anyways, but thank you for joining me on this lovely Tuesday. And I really appreciate it. And hopefully I will run into some of you soon. Take care. Bye.